afternoon, whichever works best for you. I opened up an email this morning and I saw an article from News One about Clarence Thomas, Associate Justice Clarence Thomas. Okay. Um, it said that he suggests Supreme Court's Brown versus Board of Education decision was wrong. This is what the article said. So I was interested. I'm like, who is this man? Because we are hearing so much stuff about him. I mean, when I was younger, when he first got nominated, all this stuff came out about him being sexually assaulting women. Anita Hill, they put her on pretty much on trial, trying to prove she lied. And all this controversy came with him. And it also was pointed out that he was nominated with the um he really it was a very, very close call. Yeah. He had the narrowest margin in 100 years. And by him being replacing our most famous and a wonderful person, Thurgood Marshall. See, this is what they do. They replace people. When you have a first black in something, they replace them with the worst. Okay? Just like they replaced Barack Obama with Donald Trump. They replaced Thurgood Marshall with Clarence Thomas. Yeah. So if we would be smart and realize this is what they do, when we have just like the first black female justice, who they gonna replace her with? We might as well be prepared and counterattack that because that's what they do. I didn't know that he is the longest um, working justice. He's the longest serving justice on the federal bench. In one speech, he called Washington, D.C. a hideous place. So, we're getting at the mindset of him. But let's go back to the beginning. He was born June the 23rd, 1948, in Penn Point, Georgia. Okay. He's the second of three children, and it has been noted and proven that he came from people that were slaves. I know a lot of people want to say enslaved. When you try to write slave in a text or something, it enslaved automatically come up. Change it to enslaved. They are trying every which way to make it not sound so bad. Okay, From 1967 to 1968, he went to the Conception Seminary College in Missouri. He went to the College of the Holy Cross Catholic College in Massachusetts. And matter of fact, he used to speak the Gulum. That's the family language, because they are uh, have a history. They maintain their language over all the years, and so he had to take up English to uh, to get out of that Gulum language. He went to Yale Law and Harvard Law School, University of Pennsylvania Law School, and it had brought out that Yale had offered him financial aid, very good package, they say. So I think somebody high up already had their eyes on him. Oh yeah, they start uh, indoctrinating and getting people prepared for um, offices, high and low. Civil rights activist. He was in civil rights activism. That's just like sports. They start looking at you in high school. You know, seeing what your potential is, seeing if they could get in your head and therefore in your pocket. Um, he didn't too much care for that because he might have got into uh, a lot of his positions because of affirmative action, and he looked down on that. People was assuming that's how he got jobs, positions. He obtained his Juris Doctorate in 1974. He was married to a black woman. His first wife was a black woman. They Kathy Ambush. They struggled with financial aid. I mean, with financially, they had one child. I didn't even know that. Um, he had positions on the 11th Circuit Judicial Conference, which is Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. So he's coming up in the world. But he also was a assistant secretary of education. He was appointed by President Reagan. And President George H.W. Bush nominated him to replace Thurgood Marshall because Thurgood Marshall was getting ready to retire because of illness. That's what they say. In 1989. Thomas has been called the most conservative member of Supreme Court. Now, when you have, this is my recollection, when you have a black person that is conservative, you're going to get this kind of controversy. Conservative people really, their God is money. It's all about the dollar bill. And he was called to the U.S. Supreme Court in 1991. Um, and this, By the way, 2024 is the 70th anniversary of the Board of Education versus Brown. And he has the nerve to criticize it. He wrote that it is not backed up by the Constitution or by the nation's history and tradition. And federal courts do not have the flexible power to invent whatever new remedies may seem useful at the time. So, this is my say on it. I I was born in the 50s, but I know it was a lot going on. I mean, it was a lot going on. People was really um, tired of that separate but equal. It was never equal. So they had to do something about it, and they went on and it took years, but they finally got it confirmed that segregation was not constitutional, and that the blacks can start going to whatever school that uh, they want to go, including colleges, and I believe that it was. I know somebody like me shouldn't even speak on it because I didn't live during them times. I didn't have to worry about school and education because I wasn't around. But what I see now, the after effects, I think it was a bad idea. We should have kept going. I wish we had just stuck with being equal and build. I wish we could have been strong enough as a people to build up our own schools. I mean, you had before we was able to even go to school. Period. They had they put their money. Mary Ballou. I mean Mary Betha Ballou, Malloy Ballou. She started a school. They had all these black-owned colleges, Tuskegee and all that, and they did well. We should have expanded that to public schools. We should have built up schools for our kids to go to in their neighborhood. And what we should have been doing is teaching these kids to be teachers. So we could have had more quality teachers. We could have used people's homes for schools. We could have put our money together. We could have went on and on and on till we got stronger. Built universities. Start doing our own uh, uh, research and entrusted our holistic, remedies that we had to survive on. I believe we would have been better off. We would have been able. We wouldn't have all these people like Clarence Thomas, Tim Scott. Uh, we wouldn't have more of these people that are black but ain't black. We would have more stronger families. because our families would have been going, they would have been going to the same school. The kids, the mom, the grandkids would have been going to the same school. We would have been having more people associated and the same ideas and the same dreams and hopes, and uh, we would have married like-minded people. We would have been more in tune in taking care of our homes and communities. But what happened is, to me, when we started associating every day with the white people, we had to break down the barrier of getting in there. Then we had to go in hostile territory, and then we had to go in there and get the education, and then we had to go work in the hostile work environment. And then we had to start, keeping our hair straight. We had to start looking like them, dressing like them. We can't go into a work area and look like ourselves, dress like ourselves. We had to take on their persona. And that way, we have become brainwashed in and out. And also, we stopped working hard for the people, because you can't work for them and work for us. No, you can't. You can't. You can't. And that's why they was able to kill off our leaders, our black leaders, and dare to replace them, because they look at us as beggars and not worthy, because we had to run to them. And then lately, we've been going through all this Black Lives Matter stuff. Now we still trying to beg the white people to think that we're worthy, that we deserve their love and trust. Oh, and we're not teaching our kids to be warriors of change. We are teaching our kids to fit in, to obtain what the white man got and what they think the white man want us to have. So I do not or ever will like Clarence Thomas, but and then this is the hard part about it. It's done. It's over with. Why do you want to go back and try to say it was wrong? What is your end game? His end game is, as old as he is, he wants to keep having money. Him and his second wife don't have any kids. So where is all this money gonna go when he goes away to Never Never World? And he's also questioning the legitimacy of Jack Smith prosecuting Donald J. Trump. Yeah, he well, I thought I had these. Yeah, And we've seen all the stuff that's going on about him, with the gifts. And like I told you, conservatives, their God is money. Because all they care about is money. Trying to conserve the money to people that looks like them. They want to make sure that people that look like them have money and have the power to keep people that look like me in check. Because how in the world, after all these years, we still are struggling to have the rights and our place in society? Why is that? Because they inherit that very issue. Keep the people that look like me at the bottom in the check. Yes. And that's why we need to get back to because that's only the beginning. When they, you know, let go of the abortion rights, that is just the beginning. Because, like I said before, what is their end game? Because before they was going around here sterilizing people. Now they want to stop you from having an abortion, stop you from not getting pregnant. So what's next? See, we need to raise up people that want to be warriors of change, not going backwards. It's really ridiculous. It's really, 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 really ridiculous. And what we could do, it's going to be hard because it's so hard for us to come together on things. And that is their main goal, is to keep us divided and keep the family dysfunctioned, the neighborhoods in war torn zones. Because how is you going to feel good about yourself when you have to walk out your door into garbage, uh, tore down buildings, burnt out businesses, and then go to a school that may not have central air conditioning? The chances of your success diminishes a lot. And then we have to be bombarded with all these killings going on in the neighborhood. I don't care if it's not my neighborhood, just anywhere. It's hard to hear about these young people getting shot and killed in the streets at a party, or you have to see pictures of us with a person's knee on their neck and nobody's helping them. In Minneapolis, all those black people in Minneapolis, this white police officer was able to have his knee on this man's neck for however long it was, long enough to kill him, and nobody helped him. But they did recorded. That is our problem. It reminds me of that scene you see in every slave movie where you have 20 slaves standing around looking at the white man whip a black woman or man, and nobody does nothing because they don't want to die. They don't want to get burnt alive, hung. And they have the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act fulfills a promise we made 4 years ago to his and every family of a black man or woman killed by law enforcement. It is a bill that aims to end police brutality, hold police accountable, improve transparency in policing, and create meaningful structure change when it comes to how law enforcement does their job. Okay, now that would be good. That would be nice. It's stopping chokeholds. Well, chokeholds weren't supposed to been outlawed. President Joe Biden in 2021 set a deadline to have a deal in place to pass the bill by the first anniversary of Floyd's murder. But that day came and went without any agreement. What is the problem? You know what the problem is? Republican South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, a member of the bipartisan congressional group that reviewed the legislation, was largely blamed for preventing the bill from moving forward after he refused to budge from his position supporting qualified immunity. Okay, so they want to put in the bill that police should have immunity against some of their actions. Okay, so like I said, this is the problem. This is the aftermath that we have to deal with that being forced. I mean, you have to look at it. Why? What's it a thing that blacks and whites had to have segregated sitting areas, segregated moving houses, segregated cleaning areas, and courthouses, segregated food? Why do we need this? Why do we need this? We should have separated every